In this video, we talk about coupon bond pricing between coupon dates. We'll use yield to maturity as our pricing method, and we'll do an example bond. I will show you one of the standard conventions called street convention for corporate bonds. I'll talk a little bit about what the variations on the conventions are as we go through this, but there are literally dozens of different conventions that are used in different places. And whatever the convention is that you'll be trading a bond on, you'll know what it is when you go to do it. The point of this is to illustrate the problems you face pricing bonds using yield to maturity between coupon dates and how they're handled. Now, an advantage of no arbitrage pricing is that there exists a price on any given day for zero coupon bonds. If you just use those to price the coupon bond today, you don't have to worry about this pricing a bond between coupon dates. It's automatically in there. There's also yields between now and any given future date from the yield curve. And again, you can price using those yields without worrying about this sort of partial period between the coupon payments that we're pricing at. This only is a problem with yield to maturity. So I'm going to take a look at a bond. I got a bond quote here from E-Trade a while back. This is a Deere bond. The issue is Deere and Company. It's a debenture here and here. And this means that it's an unsecured lending. The coupon is 8.10 here and here. We will get that coupon every 6 months, so half of it every 6 months. And this matures in 2030, specifically May 15th, 2030. The last coupon alone is November 15th, 2029. But on May 15th, 2030, you get a coupon and a principal payment. Now, the minimum amount of this you can buy is $100, but by convention, we're going to price $100 worth. So the price today is $132.64. Today means the settlement date, the date that this bond actually trades hands. This was January 11th, 2007. The yield to maturity on that date is 5.581, and that's annual. Of course, there's a 6-month period, so we'll divide that by 2 as the effective discount rate. The first process is going to be make a timeline. Then we'll price the bond as of the last coupon, and then we'll adjust for the partial period. So the first thing to do is make a timeline. What are the items in the timeline? Well, there's a payment. Every payment is the par value, the face value at maturity, times the interest rate per period. Easy enough. At maturity, you get back that payment plus a $100 face value here. Then we need to count the number of periods. Now, ordinarily, I just do that on my fingers and toes, but you can't see that by video, so I'll make hash marks here. Let's see. The next payment is May 15th, 07. So there's May 07, there's November 07. There's May 08, November 08. There's May 09, November 09, and then there is May 10. So to get from now until 2010, there's 7 payments. Now after that, we have to get from 2010 to 2030. That means there are 20 years to go, and there's 2 payments per year. So 47 total payments. It's surprising how challenging it is to count those number of payments. Another thing you can do is put them into Excel, number them explicitly, and then count them. But in reality, there's a lot of mistakes made just understanding the number of payments, so you got to get this part right. given the payments that we've got and the number of payments, the next thing we do is compute the price on the prior coupon date. The price on the prior coupon date is just an annuity. The prior coupon was last November. The payments are $405, and the yield to maturity is, let's see, what was the yield to maturity here? The yield to maturity is 5581. What does that give us? 5581. $2.7905. So the annuity is 405, it lasts for 47 periods. And we get an additional $100 at maturity 47 periods from now. Well, this is very easy to do in your calculator, so let me go ahead and do that. So this is the interest rate. 47 periods. Payment 405, $100 extra at maturity. Present value is $132.76. I'm going to store that. Actually, I'm going to store the positive version of that. So we will price in class as of coupon dates. So this would be the price we would get. But the reality is this coupon bond we're buying and selling on January 11th, 2007. So we need to find the date on the value on the delivery date, January 2007. So how many days have passed? Well, by convention for corporate bonds in the U.S., they are typically priced based on the assumption of a 30-day month and a 360-day year. In contrast, treasuries are usually priced on a convention of actual calendar time. But for this corporate bond that has a coupon payment on the 15th of November, the rest of November is 15 days. Again, assuming 30 days in a month. There are also 30 days in December by convention, and 11 days go by in January. That's 56 days gone by. And this entire period is 180 days. Every 6 months is 180 days if there's a 360-day year. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this price we got on November 15th and bring it forward. Now the conventions for bringing it forward differ. You might use simple interest. You might compound it over a specific period. What we're going to do is called fractional compounding, based on a 360-day year. So what does that mean? The future value is equal to the price on November 15th carried forward by 1 plus the interest rate per 6-month period to the power of the fraction of a period that's passed, according to the 30-day month, 360-day year convention. Well, according to that convention, 56 days have passed out of 180 in a 6-month period. All right, we can do that. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to multiply it. I'm going to take it forward by 1 plus the interest to the power of, in parentheses, 56 days out of 180. So that's 133.90 rounding. Okay, that's called the invoice price. This is the actual amount of cash that changes hands. Again, I'm going to store this. But we're not done yet. The price that's quoted does not include accrued interest. It's accounted for separately. So we're going to break this price down into, this price is the actual cash flow. We're going to break the cash flow down into accrued interest and a quoted trade price. So how will we do that? Well, while we found this price using fractional compounding, we account for accrued interest using simple interest. So the interest payment every 6 months is $4.05. We're going to just do a simple fraction of the period that's passed accumulation of interest. So 56 days have passed out of 180. So we're going to say that accrued interest is 56 times 180. Well, let's do that. 56 divided by 180, let's see, times 405. I'm going to store that. So $1.26 of the cash flow that changes hands is accounted for as accrued interest. Okay, the rest is the actual price that's quoted. So let's see. I'll subtract that from the price, the invoice price, the cash flow, 132.64. Okay. So this just divides the cash flow into two components, the quoted price and interest. Now, why did they do that? They do that because the interest payment is taxed differently than any capital gains or losses. So separating the transaction price into a price plus interest allows me to account for the taxes correctly if there's a differential rate between interest and capital gains and losses. So in the end, that 132.64 is the actual price. The cash flow that exchanges hands is 133.90. So let's go back and check that against the price that we had. 132.64 is the price that's actually quoted here. That's where that number comes from. Okay. Now the reality is that that price is determined by no arbitrage pricing relationships in the market. Then what they do is reverse the order of everything we just did to figure out what the yield to maturity is. They quote the yield to maturity to you in the market and not the price, because that's the convention. And then it's your job as the purchaser to back out what the price is between the coupon dates and divide it into accrued interest plus the actual price. As I said, the conventions for doing this vary dramatically. Do you price as of the last coupon and bring it forward, or the next coupon and bring it back? Do you use simple interest, daily compounding, fractional compounding, some other convention to bring it forward or back? Do you divide the invoice price, do you count actual calendar days, or do you use a convention like a 30, 360-day year? Do you divide the invoice price, the cash flow, into a separate accrued interest and price? If you accrue interest, is it simple, compounded by some period, or fractional compounding? Every one of these choices leads to a different convention, and there are many of them used worldwide. You need to be aware of the convention that's used in your particular market, but for our class, we'll make the convention very simple. We will price bonds on coupon dates. Then the bond is just a simple annuity. Okay. So that is where our simple annuity formula comes from.